Okay, now, I mean, let's face it, the game itself is pretty basic. We're just shooting these parrots. But of course, we all want to introduce some competition into our work. And a logical thing I'm thinking here is that we really should keep a score. And a scoring system that probably works in the way that, let's say, if you shoot a parrot, you get 10 points, and if you miss the parrots, you get 1 point knocked off your score. That would kind of make sense, wouldn't it? So, how does that work? Well, to do this, we're going to need to use something called a variable. Okay? And I'm going to create a variable here, and I'm going to call this score. Okay? I'm going to use that. It says for all sprites. We're just going to do it for all sprites. That's fine. Now, there's our score. Okay? So we've got a score of 0. Now, do you remember we said when the space key is pressed, if touching sprite 6, hide? Well, that basically means that you hit the parrot. So I'm thinking what we could do is if you actually no, even maybe I should explain this a little easier. Whenever you press that space key, you get -1 point because you've taken a shot. So what we'll do is now is this. I'm going to put when space key pressed, change score by. Let's make that -1. Happy with that? Fantastic. Let's put that there. Let's just run the game for a minute. I'm going to press space a few times. Look at that. Every time I pressed the space key. Of course, it didn't add any points for scoring, because I haven't told the computer to add any points for scoring the parrot. Of course, what I should really do is if you hit it, this is this command here, if it's touching you hide the parrots when you hit it, let's increase the score. Fantastic. Let's pop that there. And of course, I want to add on 10 points, so I'm going to put 10 in there. Fantastic. Right. Now, don't forget, this only applies to sprite number 1, doesn't it? Of course, on sprite 2, we've still got the old command there without the scoring system on it. So how do we change that? Well, okay, it goes a little bit like this. We could do them all manually. Okay, we could, sort of, if I wanted to, I could say, okay, I'll drag this one over to sprite 2. And that's great. Problem is, it still has the old set of commands there as well. So what I tend to do is just move that, and you can drag them that way, and it gets rid of them. And I'm going to move that one to sprite 3, and go in there. That means that one's there. We want that one out of the way now, please. Let's go to sprite 4. Oh no. Damn, that was silly. Let's get rid of that from there. We'll have to go and back to sprite 1 and move that to sprite 4. I hope this is making sense. I made a bit of dog's dinner of it, actually. And I'll move that command onto sprite 5. And what we now need to do is get rid of that. So now, all of my sprites have this routine here. So what we'll do is let's press the A key, bring all the parrots back. And of course, you can probably see the problem when I press play. Oh no, it's kept the score from the last game. So dear. So I suggest that what we do is that the first thing that we want to do is when this is clicked, and this can be on any of the sprites here, the first thing that we want to do is set the score to 0. So if I just do that now, hope this is making sense. I don't need to repeat that on every single one of these sprites because it's just not needed. I mean, it'll run the command here. You'll see it now. Look, let's press play. Look, the score is at 0. Okay. So now I'm going to try and miss parrots. Look, let's press this. With that, is every time you press the space key on sprite 1, it takes off a point. On sprite 2, it takes off a point. Oh, down there. On sprite 3, it takes off a point. On sprite 4, takes off a point. And on sprite 5, it also takes off a point. So every shot, if you like, is going to take off 5 points. So logic says to me, maybe what I should have done is put -0.2. Maybe let's make that 0.2. Okay, if I've got 5 parrots, and then we'll have -0.2. We'll have parrot 3. Yep, it's really time to talk amongst yourself whilst I just put all of these in. And then we'll have minus. What do we do 0.2? Let's try that, see if it works. Yeah, it does it. It changed it for you. Great. So I haven't got to bother with that -0.2. And now Press that. The great thing about it, it sets it back to 0 because we put the command there. I'm going to deliberately try and miss them parrots. There you go. It's down 14. Damn. 13. 31. Now, the score only went up. The score only went up by 9, and that's because, of course, you lose a point for every shot you take. So if you want to say every time you hit a parrot, you get 10 points, the logical thing to do actually is to say I'll change that score by 11. So you're going to lose 1 point every time you shoot, but you'll get 11 points every time you hit, which means that, of course, you can actually score 10 points for a hit. And that means the highest possible score in this game, of course, would be 50. Something that I'm not going to bore you with trying. But of course now you can make your little game, and it's just a matter now of save as to store it. And then of course what you can do is that you can play it amongst yourself and see who can get closest to hitting a perfect score of 50 on your Parrot flying game. And I was going to say send in a screen dump if you achieved it, but I wouldn't do anything with it, to be honest with you. Anyway, I hope that kind of makes sense. That's now left you with a simple sort of shooting game, a bit of a scoring system. Maybe we could think about incorporating a timer. I think we'll do that. We'll do that in the next lesson.